welcome to join me. Today we are making an easy ginger scallion chicken keto version. So if you like videos like this, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. So ginger scallion chicken is a very common Chinese household dish, and it takes very few ingredients. What we're doing is we're changing up what traditionally Chinese use peanut oil or vegetable oil, but we're going to switch it up with better ingredients. This dish does not call for any sugar, so that's a good thing. Traditionally, Chinese people like to cook a whole chicken, but because I cannot consume so much chicken by myself and my husband, and also on a keto diet, we prefer to eat dark meat that has more fat. I am using an organic chicken that I order from the butcher box, but I think you can use any chicken. So if you can get cheaper ones without antibiotics, that's really great too. So let's look over the ingredients. So the main ingredient obviously is our chicken. So here I have two chicken leg quarters, and since it's called ginger scallion chicken, we will be using some scallion and gingers. So we will have some slices of the ginger. This will go into the boiling pot to cook the chicken. And we also have our avocado oil, which will go into the sauce, and a 2 to 3 tablespoons of cooking wine. You don't have to use Chinese cooking wine. You can use any cooking wine you like. And finally, some salt. The salt will eventually go into the pot of boiling water with the chicken, and we will also use salt in our ginger scallion sauce. What we want to do now is to put some wine, cooking wine, into the boiling water, as well as about 3-4 pieces of ginger. This helps to tone down like any gaminess of the chicken. And finally, we want to put about a teaspoon or so of salt. We let the water come to a high boil again. I've cleaned these chicken already, so we're just gonna plop them in. So what we want to do now is, once this chicken comes to a boil again with the lid on, then we will turn down the heat to a simmer with a low bubble, and we will cook it in a low simmer for 20 minutes. Then you want to turn off the heat and let the chicken leg quarter soak for another 15 to 20 minutes until you poke it with chopstick or knife and no blood comes out of the chicken. And meanwhile, let's prepare the sauce. I have some scallion here. I didn't buy it today. It was a few days ago, so it's curled up a little bit. I washed this, and what we're gonna do is to chop the scallion. I would say about 2 stalk-ish. It kind of depends on how much you like scallion, if you like more of it or less of it. Traditionally, ginger takes a heavier portion of the sauce. However, my husband does not like ginger, so we do put ginger, but not as much as traditionally what people do. But that's up to you how much ginger or scallion, but generally I put about 2 stalks of the scallion for about 3 to 4, like 3 chicken thighs. Today I'm using leg quarters, so this is 2 is fine. So not only you want to cut it thin, you kind of want to chop it down more. This is quite a potent sauce, so we want this scallion to cook. Next, we want to grate the ginger. Chopping it wouldn't be sufficient enough for how fine I want it to be, and the finer it is, if you're not a ginger person, you don't want to taste any chunky ginger, this is a really great way to mild down the ginger when we cook the sauce. Okay, so we have all the ginger grated. Let's just put it in the same little bowl here. Now what we want to do is to pour in about 1/3 cup of avocado oil. The reason you want to use avocado oil is that it is a tasteless oil and it has high heat point. So that is what we want. We don't want the oil's flavor, like olive oil, to overtake the flavor of the ginger and scallion. So into the cold oil, we will add our chopped ginger and scallion. And then we'll turn on the heat at medium. And just let it cook slowly. You want to get the flavor to kind of melt into the oil. Slightly fry it. And when you start seeing the bubble forming around the scallion and ginger, that's what we want. This will take a couple of minutes. So right now you can see that the bubble, the oil is boiling, making little bubbles around the ginger and scallion. So we want to let that cook for like just a couple of minutes, not too long. You definitely don't want to burn the ginger and scallion, and since they are cut down pretty fine, we don't want to cut it for too long. So once it bubbles, I've had it cooked for a couple of minutes. Generally I would say add about half a tablespoon, because majority of the flavor of the sauce is coming from the saltiness come from the salt, and once you dip it with chicken, you don't want too little salt because it will have no flavor. So a good half teaspoon or so of salt. So you definitely want to use a fine salt so that it doesn't take too long to melt. Stir this around. Make sure you use good oil, sea salt, pink salt, but don't use the table oil. It doesn't have too much nutrition content. So this is about good. Okay, so here is our ginger scallion sauce in the saucepan. Let's pour this into a bowl. You might think this is a lot of oil, but obviously you can use less oil. Yeah, so this is the sauce. It's very, very simple. So now let's wait for the chicken to be done, and I will show you how I prepare the dish, or finish the dish. Okay, so we have simmered our chicken for 20 minutes and we have let it sit in the pot for 20 minutes. What you want to do now is to take a chopstick or a knife and poke the chicken through, and you see the juice is running clear, there's no blood. We can take it out, put it into a plate, let it sit for another 10 minutes so the juice will reabsorb, and we'll come back. Okay, so right now this chicken is not looking super appetizing. It just basically boiled. I let it sit for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so. So traditionally, when Chinese people eat these chicken with the dipping sauce, they would chop it horizontally, but I don't like chopping the chicken. I think it's kind of hard for me, and also sometimes the juice and the meat flies around. So what I like to do instead is I actually like to pull the chicken in large pieces, meat and skin. So you see how juicy this chicken still is. Of course, this is dark meat, so naturally it has a lot more fat and a lot more juice. Okay, so I have shredded this chicken in large pieces, and then what I did is I take a spoon and spoon the sauce over the chicken. Very simple. Traditionally, we just take a piece and we dip it into the sauce. You can eat it that way, where you can spoon it onto the meat. It's really up to you. The flavor is the same either way. So let's do a little taste test. All right, so it's a really simple chicken dish. I do want to iterate again that we did use quite a bit of oil. How much oil you want to cook the sauce in is really up to you. Even how much ginger and scallion you want is up to you. The amount that I use, I will put it in the description box below, but you can really change it up to suit your taste. To me, because I eat a ketogenic diet, so I don't mind having a little bit of oil. I'm not pouring the oil all over the chicken. Most of the time, like I said, I dip it. So if there's leftover oil, you can actually use this flavored ginger and scallion flavored oil to do some stir fry or some cooking. It is a very delicious oil. It is very infused with the fragrance of ginger and scallion. So here I have a little piece of chicken. I got some chicken meat and skin, and I have the sauce poured over it. Let's take a test. Well, obviously I'm going to say it's good, but I think the beauty of a dish like this is that it's very simple. So it is not even hard to guess what the taste is like, and it truly is delicious, and it's very healthy. The cooking method is as simple as it can be. It's basically boiling. And ginger scallion is in every supermarket. You don't have to go to a Chinese market to make this dish. It is very high fat, high protein, and very satisfying. You can eat this with your cauliflower rice, or sometimes I make tofu rice. I know a lot of people in keto community don't eat tofu, but I grew up with it. It's one of my traditions, and I don't feel like tofu makes me sick or anything. That's up to you. If you're interested, I could also show you how I make a tofu rice. I do try to buy organic, non-GMO tofu if you're interested. But anyway, as far as this chicken goes, I think it's absolutely delicious. So if you like it, give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.